Hi guys, what's up? My name is Shambhavi and welcome back to another video where today we are going to be talking about the best self-help book that I've read, which is Atomic Habits by James Clear. Now I know it is a very popular book and many of you must have heard of it and many of you must have read it also. So congratulations to all those who have already read it. But in case you are someone who has not read it, then I would say that you are missing out on a very important aspect and you must read it as soon as possible. And there are so many things to learn from it, and the best part about the book is the practical approach that is integrated with the book. And the book actually tells us about very small and actionable steps that you can start doing from right now. And I think that is very important because theory does not actually help us a lot. But yes, when you actually tell someone that you can achieve this or you can do this by following these simple steps, then you are more inclined to perform them and you are more inclined to change your habits. So firstly, let me tell you what this book is all about. The book is all about making good habits and breaking bad habits, and it aims to do so by very tiny changes in your routine every day, which will compound into a great result after some time. The title of the book is Atomic Habits, Tiny Changes, Remarkable Results, and it is written by James Clear. In this video, I'm going to talk about what were the major takeaways for me from the book, and also meanwhile I would quickly summarize the key points of the book for you. So let us just begin without any further delay. The book actually begins with the definition of atomic habits, and the author says that just like the atoms are the building blocks of molecules, atomic habits are the building blocks of remarkable results. The backbone of this book is basically the 4-step model of habits, which is cue, craving, response, and reward. And the author has stretched these things into forming the 4 basic laws of human behavior, which we will quickly see in the video. So for the sake of this video, I'm going to divide it into 4 parts. The first part is the aggregation of marginal gains, or the 1% rule. The second part is why we should prefer system over goals. The third part talks about how a change in identity is more important before you decide to change your behavior. And in the fourth part, we are going to talk about the 4 laws of behavior change. So let us begin with the first thing, which is the aggregation of marginal gains, or more popularly known as the rule of 1%. So this is the philosophy of searching for a tiny margin of improvement in everything you do. For example, if you are 1% worse every day for 1 year, then you will be left with only 0.03 of what you started. But if you are 1% better every day for 1 year, then you will be somewhere here, which is 37 times of what you actually started with. And this, you can see, is the improvement line, this is the decline line, and this is the difference between the 2 points after a span of 1 year. I like a quote from this book which says that time magnifies the margin between success and failure. It will multiply whatever you feed it. Good habits make time your ally and bad habits make time your enemy. So here we learn about how compounding very small actions over a long period of time can leave us with remarkable changes, and although those changes are not noticeable in day-to-day life, but after a span of time you will reach at a level which you did not even think initially. The other interesting thing that the author has talked in this section is the valley of disappointment. So what happens is, whenever we pick up a new hobby, we try to work hard in it every single day, but after a few days we see that we do not get any improvement, and then we get disappointed and we leave the hobby in between. This is where the author has talked about the plateau of latent potential, and here he has talked about the valley of disappointment. So what happens is, habits often appear to make no difference until you cross a critical threshold and unlock a new level of performance. In the early and middle stages of any quest, there is often a valley of disappointment. So habits need to persist long enough to overcome this plateau of latent potential. When you finally break through this habit of latent potential, people will call you an overnight success, because the outside world only sees the most dramatic change as compared to everything that precedes that change. So now coming to the second section, where James Clear has talked about why maintaining healthy systems is very much more important as compared to setting goals for yourself. So here he has talked about 4 problems of maintaining goals. The first problem is that winners and losers have the same goals. Every Olympian wants to win a gold medal, every person wants to get that one job, but then only a few people are able to get it while the others are not. So definitely the goals cannot be the differentiating factor, because both of them wanted the same thing. And this is the problem with keeping only goals in mind and not working on the systems that will help us to achieve those goals. The second problem with goals is that achieving a goal is only a momentary change. For example, if your room is a mess, then you can go and clean it in one day and it will be clean. But if you're not maintaining that habit of keeping the room tidy, then it will again turn into a mess the second day. So that is why it is more important to focus on you being a tidy person throughout, rather than fixing your mind on a goal that, okay, I have to clean up my room. The third problem with goal is that goals restrict your happiness, because you start telling yourself that once I achieve that goal, only then I will be happy. So all that journey that you are making from today until that point when you reach your goal, you are definitely not going to be happy, and you are going to be very, very sad on this journey. So this is the third problem with setting goals. And lastly, the fourth problem with setting goals is that goals are at odds with long-term progress. Because if you have thought about reaching a goal, and suppose you reach that goal and that was the entire thing that you wanted, then what is the next thing that you are going to do? And you will not be motivated to do anything further, because your whole life was about that one goal and now you have reached it. So you should not say that you want to read 5 books. Instead, you should say that I want to become a reader. And that is how you can continue with your habit of reading, instead of just thinking about how many books you read this month. Here I really like a quotation that you do not rise to the level of your goals, instead you fall to the level of your systems. So now coming to the third section, where we are going to talk about the importance of changing your identity before you think about changing any habit of yours. So here the author says that there are 3 layers of behavior change: a change in your outcomes, a change in your processes, or a change in your identity. Based on this, you can talk about either the outcome-based habits, where you first try to change the outcome, then you try to change the process, and then it clashes with your identity. However, the alternative is to build identity-based habits, where first of all you try to change your identity, then you change your processes, and finally the outcome will automatically change. A behavior that is incongruent with yourself will never last for long. You may want better health, but if you are a type of person who will always prioritize comfort over going to the gym, then you will always be drawn towards relaxation rather than training. So as James says, the biggest barrier to positive change at any level, that is individual, team, or society, is identity conflict. Good habits can make rational sense, but if they conflict with your identity, you will fail to put them into action. So that completes the third section. Now before moving on to the first section, here I would like to talk about a very interesting concept, which is the concept of the 4 stages of habit, that is cue, craving, response, and reward. The cue triggers a craving, which motivates a response, which provides a reward, which satisfies the craving, and ultimately it becomes associated with the cue. So this forms the entire habit loop, and without the first 3 steps, the behavior will not occur, but without the 4th step, the behavior will not be repeated. Your brain is a reward detector. We chase rewards because they serve 2 purposes. Firstly, they satisfy us, and secondly, they teach us. So now let us quickly cover the 4 laws of behavior change. The first law is make it obvious. For example, if you want to learn guitar, then you should place your guitar somewhere in your living room where you can see it each and every day, so that it is more obvious for you to pick up the guitar, as compared to if you have locked up that guitar in your closet and you are never going to remember it or take it out and play it. So coming to the second law of behavior change is make it attractive. The more attractive an opportunity is, the more likely it is to be habit forming. James says that habits are a dopamine driven feedback loop, and when dopamine rises, so does our motivation to act. So for this, he says that there is a strategy called temptation bundling, where you can pair an action which you want to do with an action which you need to do. You can also see this graph, which is the dopamine spike. The third rule of behavior change is to make it easy. Here James says that the most effective strategy to develop a habit is practice and not planning. Human behavior follows the law of least effort. We naturally gravitate towards the option which requires the least amount of effort. So that is why he says that you have to create an environment where doing the right thing is as easy as possible. Otherwise, you're not going to do it. You have to reduce the friction associated with good habits, and you have to increase the friction which is associated with the bad habits. Here he has introduced a very interesting concept of the habit line. So in the beginning, a habit requires a good deal of effort and concentration to perform. This is point A. After a few repetitions, that is at point B, it gets easier but still requires some conscious attention. With enough practice, when you reach point C, the habit becomes more automatic than conscious. Beyond this threshold, the habit line, the behavior can be done more or less without thinking. Now a new habit has been formed. Lastly, let us come to the fourth law of behavior change, which is to make it satisfying. We are more likely to repeat a behavior if we are satisfied after performing it. The human brain has evolved to prioritize immediate gains as compared to delayed gratification. And this is the cardinal rule of behavior change. What is immediately rewarded is repeated. What is immediately punished is avoided. And in every chapter he has told you so many things how you can actually do that, and how you can actually convert all of this theoretical portion into something practical, into something which you can apply to your daily lives starting from day one. So lastly, I would like to say that this book has had an immense and an immediate impact on me, and I highly recommend it to everybody who wants to understand how to make habit formation easier for himself or herself. The book is a mix of psychology, examples, and most importantly, very, very actionable and practical steps. It does not have anything which says that your willpower will determine everything, your talent will determine everything. Like that all is not there in the book, and it actually tells you how anybody can begin today and change any habit that he wants. So I really don't know what others have to say, but I personally loved this book and I'm so glad that I read it. And in case you also want to know about all the good things that the author has mentioned in this book, then you should definitely check this book out. And there's a link in the description below if you want it. The book is very simple and straightforward, and the writing style is so good that you won't even believe that this is a self-help book. So I am extremely impressed with this book, and I think you should definitely read it. So that's all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching it, and tell me in the comments if you have read this book already and what you are reading right now. I hope you really liked the video, and if you did, then don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe to this channel. And that's all for today, and I'll see you in the next video with another book. Till then, stay at home, stay safe, and keep reading lots and lots of books. Bye.